Chapter 1. A Breeze of Hypocrisy. When Amanda Rios moved into Willow Creek Estates, she thought she'd finally found peace. After a decade of noisy apartments and roommate drama, her modest two-bedroom townhouse felt like a little slice of heaven. That is, until she met Karen. Or more specifically, HOA President Karen Witherspoon. A woman who ruled the neighborhood with the grace of a traffic cop at a three-car pileup and the warmth of a tax audit. It started innocently enough. Amanda, freshly moved in, strung up a retractable clothesline on her small backyard patio. Just a few t-shirts and some eco-friendly cloth diapers for her baby daughter fluttered in the gentle spring breeze. Within the hour, the HOA violation notice was taped to her front door. Notice of non-compliance, Section 4.7.1. No outdoor clothes drying of any kind permitted. Fine. $50 additional violations may result in further disciplinary action, including but not limited to property liens. Amanda blinked. She hadn't even finished unpacking her last moving box. Chapter 2. Meet Karen and her bloomers. Karen lived directly across the quad. Her home looked like a Bed Bath & Beyond catalog exploded inside a Crate & Barrel. Pristine boxwoods, white trellises, seasonal wreaths, and patriotic bunting, even in February. Karen was that neighbor. She introduced herself to Amanda with a passive-aggressive welcome basket, sugar-free cookies and a pamphlet on HOA decorum, and a gaze sharp enough to cut cardboard. Karen, in her 60s, wore a perfectly permed bob and wielded her clipboard like a scepter. And yet, every morning at exactly 7:02 a.m., Amanda would see it. From her second-story window, Karen's second-story balcony jutted out like a nose too big for its face, and draped along its cheap wrought iron railing, floral granny panties, lots of them, pink hibiscus, blue daisies, yellow tulips, big, bold, billowing in the wind like surrender flags from a fabric war. Amanda's jaw dropped the first time. She rubbed her eyes. Surely that wasn't what she thought it was. But every morning, like clockwork, Karen hung them out like she was broadcasting a spring collection of Victoria's Not-So-Secret. At first, Amanda gave her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was temporary. Maybe Karen's dryer broke. Maybe... Nope. Week after week, there they were. Full-bloom bloomers. Chapter 3. The irony gets ironed out after receiving her third warning and now facing a potential $200 fine. Amanda decided she had enough. She approached Karen politely. "Excuse me, Karen," she began, gently holding the latest HOA notice. "I've gotten a few of these, and I just wanted to clarify the rule about drying clothes outside." Karen didn't even look up from her clipboard. Section 4.7 in 1. No outdoor drying. The bylaws are quite clear. "Yes, but I've noticed you sometimes hang..." "Those are delicate vintage linens, dear." Karen cut her off, sniffing indignantly. "Perfectly acceptable under the decorative exception clause." Decorative exception? Yes, clause 4.9.4. You should really read the full handbook. I could lend you my annotated copy. Amanda stared at her. "So you're saying floral underwear qualifies as decoration?" Karen smiled tightly. "What I'm saying is, I know the rules." And with that, she turned and marched off, clipboard swaying like a metronome of menace. Chapter 4. Operation Petunia. Amanda wasn't one to cause drama, but this was different. It wasn't just about panties in the wind, it was about power. So she did what any millennial mom with a Wi-Fi connection would do. She created a TikTok account, and thus Operation Petunia was born, named in honor of the giant purple petunia print pair that Karen proudly displayed every Wednesday. Amanda posted a video titled, HOA, Karen says no clothes drying unless it's her granny bloomers. The video, filmed discreetly through her blinds, showed the majestic floral cascade flapping on Karen's balcony. The internet loved it. Comments flooded in. "Not the decorative bloomers." This is HOA tyranny in pastel cotton. The hypocrisy is hanging by a thread. Literally. Within days, Amanda's account had 40K followers, and the tag "Just Your Bloomers Gate" was trending in her town. Chapter 5. Karen Strikes Back. Karen was not a woman to be publicly mocked. On day 4 of the viral storm, Amanda received an official cease and desist letter via HOA mail, complete with the phrase defamatory undergarment footage. She laughed so hard she nearly dropped her daughter's baby bottle. But Karen wasn't done. That evening, she called an emergency HOA meeting. Amanda attended out of morbid curiosity. The room smelled of coffee, printer toner, and misplaced authority. Karen stood at the front, wearing a blouse with shoulder pads so aggressive they should have filed for assault. "It has come to my attention," she began, "that some residents have chosen to weaponize social media against the good people of this community." There was an awkward pause. Everyone knew what and who she meant. "Effective immediately," Karen continued, "a new amendment will be proposed to ban photography of private balconies to protect resident dignity." A man in the back coughed. "What about the no clothesline rule?" Karen sniffed. "That remains unchanged. This is about respect." Chapter 6. Karen's closet comes undone. But the wheels of karma turn, and sometimes they spin like a rogue dryer on the fritz. One rainy Thursday, Amanda was walking her dog when she saw it. Karen, soaked and fuming, struggling to retrieve her clothesline of bloomers that had tangled in the balcony railing. One particularly large pair had flown off, wrapped around her satellite dish, and shorted out her TV signal. Amanda couldn't help herself. She filmed it. Just 5 seconds. Karen's underwear goes rogue. It hit 2 million views by midnight. The comments were savage. The hashtags glorious. Your bloomers revolt. Karen's panty parade. Tober's hate, HOA hypocrisy exposed. Karen tried to get the video taken down. But the internet is forever, and so is poetic justice. Chapter 7. When the board turns. Karen's undoing didn't stop at internet humiliation. Other residents, emboldened by Amanda's videos, started coming forward. Photos, stories, petty fines, passive-aggressive notes left on windshields. One man claimed Karen cited him for overly enthusiastic wind chimes. At the next HOA election, a surprising candidate ran against Karen. Mr. Bill Henderson, retired firefighter, BBQ enthusiast, and proud Hawaiian shirt collector. His campaign slogan, "Let the laundry, Bonnie, and freedom fly." Amanda made his campaign video. It featured dramatic slow-mo footage of various residents hanging socks, shirts, and yes, even a thong or two on backyard clotheslines. Bill won in a landslide. Chapter 8. The Final Fold. Karen didn't take it well. The morning after the election, she was spotted yelling at a bush for looking too sassy. Her bloomers disappeared from the balcony. Word spread she'd gone on a self-imposed sabbatical to Arizona. Amanda, she finally got to dry her baby's onesies in peace. And as for the HOA, the new bylaws now proudly included Section 5.1. Residents may dry clothes outdoors, provided they do not exceed the decency standards set by Karen Witherspoon's historic bloomers display. Chapter 9. Peace. Briefly. For a glorious few months, Willow Creek Estates was peaceful. The air was fresher. The lawns greener. Neighbors actually talked to each other. Backyard clotheslines blossomed like urban art installations. Amanda felt like she'd helped to start a movement. People even baked her cookies. The good kind with real butter and zero HOA pamphlets. The new HOA president, Bill Henderson, had adopted a laissez-faire leadership style. His motto was simple: if it ain't hurting nobody, leave it alone. It was the HOA golden age, until the letter arrived. Chapter 10. The return address that ruined everything. It was a Tuesday. Amanda was sorting her mail, bills, baby catalog, grocery coupons, when she saw it. Return address, Karen Witherspoon, Sedona Serenity Spa and Wellness Retreat, Arizona. Inside the envelope, a single crisp letter. To whom it may concern, namely you, I shall be returning to Willow Creek on April 1st. Do ensure the neighborhood is prepared. Sincerely, Karen Witherspoon, HOA President Emeritus. Amanda stared at the paper. April 1st? That had to be a joke, right? It wasn't. Chapter 11. The winds of change smell like fabric softener. Karen returned with a vengeance and a suitcase full of peppermint-scented tyranny. Her first act? Showing up uninvited to the HOA meeting. Her second? Plopping herself down in the front row, arms folded, wearing a bright yellow pantsuit that somehow both screamed, "I'm back, and I never left." "Oh." Bill welcomed her with a raised brow and a cautious nod. Karen smiled, shark-like. "Don't worry, I'm just here to observe." But Amanda knew better. Karen wasn't there to observe. She was there to reconquer. By Thursday, Karen had posted her first community courtesy notice on the HOA bulletin board. Neighborhood alert, flamingo lawn ornaments now restricted to 3 per home. Clotheslines may not exceed 6 feet. Underwear of any type may only be dried in the rear yard. Amanda knew exactly who that last line was for. Chapter 12. The War of the Wires. Amanda wasn't going to back down. She'd earned her right to air her laundry, literally and figuratively, so she responded the only way she knew how. She upgraded her clothesline, solar-powered, retractable, with an integrated wind sensor. It was more high-tech than her espresso machine. Karen saw it the next morning. By noon, Amanda received a friendly reminder taped to her mailbox. Please remember that excessive drying mechanisms may cause a visual disturbance to fellow residents and attract birds. Amanda laughed. Then she added a small sign under her clothesline that read, "If my clothesline offends you, avert your eyes like I do with your bloomers." The neighborhood loved it. Chapter 13. Surveillance, Suspicion, and Slightly Soiled Socks. Karen began patrolling the block again. Clipboard, visor, binoculars. Neighbors whispered that she had started a secret Facebook group titled Save Our Suburb and had even tried to order a drone online. But Amazon had flagged it as potential weaponizable HOA equipment. One night, Amanda caught Karen in her yard, measuring the grass with a ruler. When confronted, Karen mumbled something about pest control and shuffled away, muttering about rogue squirrels trained to sabotage order. Amanda decided then and there it was time for Phase 2. Chapter 14. Operation Bloomer Cam. Amanda installed a motion sensor camera on her porch. Not just any camera, one with night vision, zoom, and cloud storage. She called it Bloomer Cam. Within a week, she had footage of Karen photographing neighbors' patios with a flashlight, Karen whispering to her own mailbox, Karen tripping over a flamingo and blaming it on suburban terrorism. Amanda uploaded a highlight reel titled Karen's Late Night Patrol, The Fabric Files. It was an instant hit. The HOA board called an emergency vote to limit Karen's volunteer enforcement hours to daylight only. Karen was livid. She retaliated by reporting Amanda's lavender-scented dryer sheets as an olfactory assault. Chapter 15. The Council of Grandmas. One Saturday, Amanda hosted a backyard brunch with the other moms and retirees on the block. Over mimosas and muffins, she proposed a radical idea. "Let's form our own counter-HOA." Eyes widened. "You mean like a rebellion?" asked Mrs. Gupta from across the street. "More like a union," Amanda said, "but with snacks and sass." Thus, the Council of Grandmas and Concerned Citizens for Common Sense Living, CGCCCL, was born. They had no legal authority, but massive moral support and killer brownies. Chapter 16. The Great Clothesline Festival. As a power move, Amanda and the CGCCCL organized the first annual Willow Creek Clothesline Festival. Each house decorated their lines with creative flair. Tie-dye tapestries, baby onesies with superhero logos, a clothesline spelling freedom in socks. Even Bill hung a Hawaiian shirt on his roof. Karen was furious. She tried to sabotage it by calling the county inspector, who showed up, looked around, and left with a plate of cookies and a new pair of tie-dye socks. Amanda stood on her patio, watching the wind gently sway her perfectly legal, HOA-compliant, lavender-scented laundry. She smiled, and just as she turned to go inside, she caught a glimpse of something fluttering across the street. Karen, hanging, her bloomers, again. This time, they were red, white, and blue, with sparkles. Chapter 17. Fireworks and Fiber. That night was the festival finale. Barbecue, live music, an inflatable bounce house someone accidentally overinflated until it looked like a marshmallow threatening the power lines. Just as the fireworks began, a strong gust of wind picked up. Karen's sparkly bloomers, not clipped tightly enough, caught the air like a parachute and soared into the sky, lit perfectly by the red, white, blue flare of the finale rocket. Everyone saw it. People gasped, then cheered. Amanda caught it all on camera. Chapter 18. The Resolution Clause. The next HOA meeting was the most attended in Willow Creek history. Karen stood up. She cleared her throat. I would like to propose a revision to the outdoor drying policy, she said, surprisingly quiet. Amanda leaned forward. I believe, Karen continued, residents should be allowed to dry clothing, including undergarments, with dignity and discretion. Silence. Amanda raised her hand. And are decorative exceptions still allowed? Karen sighed. I rescind the decorative exception clause. The crowd clapped. Amanda didn't gloat. Okay, maybe just a little. Chapter 19. Peace for real. This time Karen didn't disappear this time. Instead, she mellowed. She took up knitting, led a bird-watching club, started baking biscotti that could chip a tooth, but were made with heart. The HOA became more about community and less about compliance. Amanda still kept the clothesline up. She even added a sign, dedicated to all the bloomers that dared to fly. And every now and then, Karen would nod at her from across the quad. Just once, Amanda saw her smile. Chapter 20. The Calm Before. Another Karen spring turned to summer, and Willow Creek was the happiest it had been in years. Children played in front yards. Lawn flamingos multiplied like plastic rabbits. Amanda's daughter took her first steps right under a clothesline filled with superhero baby bibs. The HOA meetings, short, sweet, and mostly about who brought the best potato salad. Karen, for her part, had become almost pleasant. Her outfits were still aggressively coordinated, but her clipboard had been replaced with a gardening trowel. She even invited Amanda over for tea once, a slightly awkward experience involving lukewarm chamomile and a 2-hour discussion about British lint traps. It was all too good to last. And it didn't. Chapter 21. Enter the HOA inspector. One Wednesday morning, a sleek black SUV pulled into the neighborhood. Out stepped a man in a navy blazer, khakis so sharp they could slice bread, and a name badge that read, Derek Winslow, Regional Compliance Auditor, Tri-State HOA Authority. He had the energy of a man who alphabetized his cereal boxes. He knocked on Amanda's door. Good morning, he said crisply. Random regional audit. I'll be inspecting property compliance for the next few days. Amanda blinked. Random? Yes, though I did receive a tip. Karen. It had to be Karen. Chapter 22. Derek versus the clothesline. Derek was not impressed by Amanda's clothesline. This is non-standard, he said, inspecting it like it might explode. Too high-tech, too visible. And this, he pointed at a towel with a corgi print, this borders on provocative whimsy. Amanda raised an eyebrow. Provocative? Whimsy? Yes, against HOA spirit. Amanda took a slow breath. This clothesline is legal under the revised bylaw approved by the board. Section 5.1. Derek flipped through a small tablet. Yes, I see. But bylaws are subject to state code override under Clause 8.314, subsection T. Amanda stared at him. Derek smiled. Karen had upgraded from passive-aggressive notes to weaponized bureaucracy. Chapter 23. The neighborhood unites word spread fast. Derek was going door to door, measuring shutters, counting lawn gnomes, even sniffing mulch. Within 48 hours, the neighborhood was in full rebellion mode. Amanda, sensing the storm, called an emergency meeting of the CGCCCL. Karen called him, Amanda declared, holding up a blurry screenshot of Derek and Karen talking near her prized rose bushes. Gasps filled the room. I knew it, muttered Mr. Cho, polishing his hummingbird feeder. She complimented my garden yesterday. She never compliments. It was a reconnaissance mission. Amanda slammed her reusable coffee mug down. It's time we fought back. Again. Chapter 24, The Bloomers Manifesto. The plan was simple, symbolic, hilarious. At precisely noon on Saturday, Every house in Willow Creek would hang one item of clothing from their front porch. Socks, tank tops, onesies, boxer briefs with tiny dinosaurs. Every shape, size, and fabric. A visual statement, a show of unity. They called it the Great Garment Uprising. Even Bill joined in, duct taping a tie-dye Speedo to his mailbox post. When Derek drove down the main road that day, he slowed to a crawl. His mouth hung open like a man walking through an art museum curated by Laundry Day. Karen? She came out onto her balcony, aghast. And then she saw it, her own bloomers, projected on the side of Amanda's garage wall, blown up 10 feet tall, looping endlessly. Chapter 25. Derek tries to take control. "This is anarchy," Derek bellowed at the emergency HOA board, meeting held in the community center later that night. "It's laundry," Amanda said calmly, sipping from a mug that read, "Fold me gently." "The bylaws are being desecrated. There's no uniformity, no discipline." Bill leaned back in his chair. "You're in the wrong neighborhood if you're looking for uniforms, buddy." Karen sat silently, red in the face. Derek slammed his tablet on the table. "Fine. Then I'll petition the Tri-State Oversight Committee. They'll revoke your self-governing charter faster than you can say fabric softener." Gasps again. This man meant war. Chapter 26. The leaked email. Amanda didn't panic. She had a plan, and a friend who worked in tech. Within days, someone, no one ever admitted who, leaked a screenshot of Derek's internal email to the Oversight Committee. "This neighborhood has become a circus. They've weaponized bloomers. The HOA is a joke, especially the former president with the floral fixation." The last line. "Frankly, the whole place smells like lavender and rebellion." That was it. That was all they needed. Amanda printed the quote on t-shirts. Karen ordered 3. Chapter 27. Karen's redemption arc. Amanda knocked on Karen's door. The older woman looked surprised. "Tea?" she asked warily. "No," Amanda smiled. "A favor." And so 2 days later, in a completely unpredictable twist of fate, Karen testified on behalf of the neighborhood during the Oversight Committee's video conference. "Willow Creek may be eccentric," Karen began, adjusting her brooch, "but it's a place where people care, where laundry tells stories, where even bloomers have freedom." Amanda teared up. The committee voted. Charter saved. Chapter 28. Derek's departure. Derek packed his SUV in silence. The entire neighborhood came out to wave him off, holding laundry baskets in the air like protest banners. Someone played "Time to Say Goodbye" on a Bluetooth speaker. Derek scowled. Then from the back of the crowd, Karen stepped forward. She handed him a parting gift, a single pair of patriotic bloomers signed by the entire HOA. Derek stared at them, and for the first time since he arrived, he cracked a smile. "I'm going to report this," he muttered, "but I'm framing these." Chapter 29. And they lived, folded ever after. With Derek gone and Karen reformed, Willow Creek flourished. The laundry festivals became quarterly traditions. Amanda was voted most likely to start a wholesome uprising. Karen opened a boutique called Delicates and Declarations. She sold bloomers, custom, with quotes. Amanda's favorite? "Hang proud, hang free." Chapter 30. Fame finds the fabric. After the Lavender and Rebellion saga went semi-viral, again, Amanda found herself in an unexpected spotlight. A well-known influencer reposted her TikTok video with the caption, "Finally a neighborhood with priorities, socks, solidarity, and sass." Within a week, a national daytime talk show reached out. The hashtag Laundry Liberation trended for 48 hours. And a small indie fashion company messaged Amanda with a proposition. "Would you consider launching a line of socially conscious home goods? We'd call it Line by Amanda." Amanda stared at her phone. Karen, now her part-time frenemy, peeked over her shoulder. "You'll need a logo," she said. "I recommend something with strong elastic values." Chapter 31. Karen goes corporate. As Amanda negotiated her first licensing deal, Karen had a revelation of her own. Her bloomers, once the subject of memes and mockery, were iconic. So she did the only logical thing, launched her own brand. Bloom Bold TM. Underwear that makes a statement. Her slogan? Hang with pride, march with cotton. Her first designs? Flamingo Friday. Gingham for justice. Red, white, in bloomers. Amanda was both horrified and deeply impressed. The two women found themselves, awkwardly, in co-branding negotiations. Amanda, modern minimalist vibes. Karen, cottagecore explosion with a hint of 70s protest art. Their combined venture? Rebel threads for the revolution in your laundry room. Chapter 32, the HOA merch controversy. At the next HOA meeting, the topic wasn't lawn heights or dog poop. It was merchandising rights. Bill Henderson, always the peacemaker, said, "Look, if we can make a few bucks to fix the pothole near Lot B, I'm all for t-shirts and bloomers." But Mr. McGill, a retired CPA and full-time buzzkill, objected. "This is a homeowners association, not a fashion house." Karen stood up. "I believe it can be both." Amanda leaned in. "Let the HOA express itself, through cotton." And thus began Willow Creek's strangest fiscal year, funded partially by novelty boxer shorts with bylaws printed on them. Chapter 33. Enter Beverly. Just as peace reigned again, a new resident moved in. Beverly Stone, retired lawyer, owns 3 Pomeranians, drives a matte black Tesla, wears exclusively gray, and worse, she hated clotheslines. At her welcome brunch, she took one look at Amanda's laundry setup and muttered, "Visual clutter, domestic sloppiness disguised as freedom." Amanda choked on her mimosa. Karen, to Amanda's shock, actually defended her. "She started a movement," Karen said, "a laundry liberation." Beverly adjusted her sunglasses. "She started a distraction." And with that, the HOA had a new villain. Chapter 34, the Anti-Line Crusade. Within a month, Beverly filed 5 noise complaints about flapping fabric sounds, tried to pass a rule limiting clothesline visibility to within the owner's shadow zone, suggested a curfew for drying after sunset to prevent nighttime laundry anxiety. She even circulated a petition, "Protect the view, ban the line." Karen lost it. "She wants to ban the thing that made me whole," she cried at Amanda's door. "Without my bloomers, I'm just a woman with a clipboard and repressed anger." Amanda patted her back. "You're more than your underthings, Karen." But she knew they needed to act. Chapter 35. Operation Thread Count. The neighborhood rallied once more. The CGCCCL mobilized with printed flyers titled, "Hands Off Our Hang Time." Bill organized a Fabric Freedom BBQ. Amanda created an online campaign with the slogan, "You can pry our socks from our freshly sun-dried hands." And Karen, she did the unthinkable. She debated Beverly live at the community center. The crowd watched breathlessly. Beverly, calm, legal, monotone. Karen, fiery, emotional, quoting obscure bylaws in her own TikTok comments section. The final line? Karen stood tall, held up a pair of blue polka dot bloomers and said, This is not chaos, it's character." The room erupted. Chapter 36. The Referendum of Rags. A special HOA referendum was held. Should clotheslines remain legal and visible? Yes, 86 votes. No 3 votes. Only if bloomers are tastefully floral. 1 vote, Karen. Beverly conceded, sort of. She demanded designated drying zones and rules about seasonal themes. Amanda smiled. "Deal, as long as I can hang Christmas PJs in July." Chapter 37. The festival evolves. The Willow Creek Clothesline Festival went regional. Other HOAs reached out. TV stations covered it. One headline read, "From Conflict to Cotton, How Bloomers Brought a Community Together." Amanda's baby became the poster child, literally, on a billboard wearing a onesie that read, "Born to Hang." Karen, not to be outdone, appeared on morning TV in a kimono made from old HOA letters. Chapter 38. Beverly's Unexpected Twist. Months later, Amanda saw something shocking, a soft gray towel, fluttering on Beverly's back patio. She texted Karen, "She's converted." Karen replied, "Redemption has a thread count of 300. Beverly never admitted defeat. But she showed up at the next HOA party with a homemade bundt cake. That's HOA code for I was wrong. Chapter 39, Legacy in Laundry. Amanda published a memoir, Sunlight and Sass, A Modern Laundry Rebellion. Karen co-wrote a foreword titled, From Cotton to Courage. The royalties used to build a community laundry garden. Solar-powered, flower-framed, and entirely legal. The final plaque reads, Dedicated to the bloomers that started it all. Chapter 40, Daytime TV and Dried Cotton. Amanda never expected a call from a daytime talk show, especially not one hosted by Savannah Sparkle, the queen of cheerful chaos, known for interviewing dog psychics and viral grannies. But there she was in makeup, backstage, with Karen nervously fixing her blouse. I shouldn't have worn polka dots, Karen muttered. You're literally the bloomers queen, Amanda replied. Polka dots are your brand. The segment aired live. Savannah gushed, You turn HOA tyranny into a textile revolution. And you, she pointed to Karen, you were the villain. Now you're iconic. Karen blushed so hard Amanda thought she might vaporize. They ended the interview by throwing symbolic bloomers into the cheering studio crowd. Chapter 41, The Merch Madness. After the show aired, Rebel threads exploded. Sales tripled. They added laundry, not lawsuits mugs, dryer sheet-scented candles called Defiance, aprons with stitch phrases like, fold 'em like you mean it. Amanda hired a small staff. Karen insisted on doing quality control herself, which mostly involved sniffing every shipment and checking thread alignment under a magnifying glass. They were building an empire until the IRS called. Chapter 42, The Audit. Just a routine check, said the agent, a bespectacled man named Ted, who looked like he still played Dungeons and Dragons in his garage. Amanda panicked. Is this because of the bloomers? Ted deadpanned. I've seen worse. Someone once tried to claim 43 poodles as a religious deduction. Still, the audit was stressful. Karen showed up to every meeting with folders, charts, and a 3-ring binder labeled Bureaucracy versus Bloomers, a defense. In the end, they passed, barely. Ted even bought a Laundry Warrior shirt before leaving. Chapter 43, The HOA Convention. Yes, it exists. The National HOA Leadership Conference, held annually in Orlando, Florida, equal parts policy, wonkfest, and passive-aggressive PowerPoint showdown. Amanda and Karen were invited to be keynote speakers. Their panel, How Underwear Saved Our Association and Our Souls. There were skeptics, of course. One woman from Arizona muttered, This is why my HOA bans all color. But after Karen gave a speech titled, Order in the Yard but Freedom on the Line, the crowd gave a standing ovation. Later, they received an honorary plaque for outstanding contributions to HOA peace progress and panties. Chapter 44, Trouble from TikTok. Just as things peaked, a new influencer emerged. A snarky 22-year-old named Chad Chill 69 posted a reaction video. Are we seriously letting boomers with bloomers run America's HOAs? The video went viral. For the wrong reasons. Comments divided fast. Respect the bloomers. HOA Karen redemption arc was fake. This whole thing was a PR stunt. Amanda tried to reply calmly. Karen did not. She challenged Chad Chill 69 to a line-off. Chapter 45. The Clothesline Showdown broadcasts live on TikTok from the Willow Creek community lawn. The rules, each team had 1 hour. Must hang 20 garments. Judged on creativity, color coordination, and emotional resonance. Karen wore a tracksuit. Amanda wore an apron that said, Let's air it out. Chad Chill 69 wore sunglasses at night and hung nothing but identical black hoodies labeled Irony. Karen's line told a story. Her HOA passed in a progression of underwear designs. Restriction, rebellion, redemption. The final piece? A flag made from old HOA notices stitched into a quilt. The judges cried, Karen won. Chapter 46. Karen gets verified. After the showdown, Karen's follower count exploded. She started a channel, The Linen Line, weekly episodes on drying techniques, HOA drama analysis, and Tea and Tension Thursdays, She got the blue checkmark. She even did a sponsored post for a laundry detergent called Breeze. Her caption? Karen's not mad anymore, but her whites are dazzling. Amanda was simultaneously proud and terrified. Chapter 47. Amanda's burnout fame came fast, and so did the pressure. Customer emails, orders, interview requests, HOA newsletters from other states asking to reprint her bylaws. One night, Amanda stared at a basket of laundry and realized she hadn't hung a single shirt in 2 weeks. She was too busy running a movement to live it. Karen noticed. She sat Amanda down and shockingly said, "Take a break. Let me run things for a while." Amanda blinked. "You? Handle the business?" Karen smiled. "I was an HOA president for 15 years. I know how to manage chaos." Amanda laughed. "That's what I'm afraid of." Chapter 48. Return to simplicity. Amanda took a weekend trip to a cabin. No phone, no Wi-Fi. Just her, the baby, and a clothesline between two pine trees. She dried tiny socks in the sunlight and remembered why she started everything in the first place. It wasn't about internet drama or ironic bloomers. It was about freedom and the joy of fresh air on cotton. When she returned, Karen had sold 600 shirts and accidentally launched a sub-brand for dogs. Paw Triotic Bloomers, TM, for the boldest behinds. Amanda just sighed. Chapter 49. The Legacy Launch. They held a press event under a giant banner made entirely of stitched-together boxers. Amanda spoke first. "We started with laundry. We ended with community." Karen followed. "I was once a woman obsessed with rules, but now I enforce joy." The crowd cheered. The HOA board unveiled the newest amendment, Article 7, Section 1. All residents have the right to dry with dignity. And beneath it, in smaller print, "Special thanks to Amanda Rios and Karen Witherspoon, founders of the Blooming Peace." Chapter 50. The wind blows on. Time passed. Things calmed. The clothesline still stood in Amanda's yard, now painted bright yellow and draped in tiny flags. Karen, semi-retired again, wrote a memoir called From Bylaws to Bloomers. Amanda occasionally went viral again, once for a TikTok dance with her toddler and a rotating sock carousel. And Willow Creek? It stayed weird. Beautifully weird. With bloomers, boxers, and banners flying free. Every single day. Chapter 51. A new threat on the horizon. Just when Amanda thought she could finally enjoy suburban peace, an email landed in her inbox. Subject: Urgent. HOA Consolidation Proposal. Willow Creek Estates, plus Four Pines Terrace attached, was a 54-page PDF full of legal jargon, maps, and new bylaws. At the top of the new proposal, outdoor clothes drying prohibited. No exceptions. Amanda dropped her coffee. Four Pines Terrace was a neighboring ultra-strict HOA, a place so pristine that people power washed their driveways twice a week and held silent lawn mowing hours. The merger would erase years of progress. Chapter 52. Karen's inner tyrant awakens. Almost. Amanda rushed to Karen's place, flustered. Karen read the document, her eyes twitching at the formatting errors. "They italicized subsection C but bolded section 2.1? She gasped. "Barbaric!" "Karen," Amanda said, "they want to take away our clotheslines." Karen inhaled sharply. "They want to kill the bloomers?" "Yes." Karen stood slowly, her spine straightening. "Get the clipboard." Chapter 53. The campaign begins. The HOA board, now caught in the corporate-style merger frenzy, had announced a community-wide vote in 2 weeks. Amanda and Karen sprang into action. Lawn signs, "Don't fold under pressure." Flyers, "Keep it hanging. Vote no to the merger." Door-to-door campaigns, complete with fresh cookies and mini clothespins as souvenirs. Even Beverly joined in. "I may hate windblown towels," she grumbled, "but I hate bureaucracy more." That week, Amanda's yard became campaign HQ. The clothesline, covered in protest art, socks shaped like fists, and a giant banner. "Our line, our rights." Chapter 54. The Four Pines Infiltration. Amanda attended a Four Pines HOA meeting undercover, wearing a trench coat and sunglasses. Extremely unnecessary but deeply satisfying. There she met the enemy. Linda Voss. Pristine bun. Diamond brooch. Eyes like frozen celery. Linda spoke with a voice that could shame a whisper. I hear Willow Creek allows visible delicates. She said it like she'd tasted spoiled yogurt. We cannot merge with chaos. Amanda raised her hand. Hi, chaos here. Security escorted her out. Karen posted the footage. Chapter 55. The Great Debate. A public town hall was arranged. One side, Willow Creek. Colorful, quirky, armed with laundry puns. Other side, Four Pines. Stiff, gray, vaguely threatening in khaki. Linda Voss stood tall. Merging brings unity, efficiency, and the end of unregulated undergarments. Karen responded. I once banned clotheslines too. Then I saw the light. It was filtered through a pair of floral cotton briefs waving proudly in the wind. The room laughed. Amanda closed with a slideshow. Smiling residents, happy kids, sun-dried socks flapping like freedom flags. The crowd clapped. Linda Voss frowned. Chapter 56. The vote on voting day. The atmosphere in Willow Creek was electric. People showed up in robes, bath towels, and DIY protest bloomers. Amanda wore a t-shirt. Vote no, let it flow. Karen, a sash that said President Emeritus of Pants. Bill grilled hot dogs. By evening, the ballots were counted. Merger vote, yes, 212. No, 239. Victory, the line would remain. Chapter 57. The Celebration Line. That night, every home in Willow Creek hung something. A garment, a flag, a ribbon, in unison. It stretched across fences, balconies, bushes, and beyond. From above, it looked like one massive, colorful line of freedom. Amanda stood on her porch, holding her daughter, now a toddler. She'll grow up knowing what community means, she whispered. Karen stood beside her, sipping iced tea. And she'll never have to fight to hang a bra in her own yard, she added. Amanda laughed. Chapter 58. Full Circle. The next day, Amanda received a letter from the state governor's office. She'd been nominated for a Community Harmony Award. Her response? Thank you, but this was a team effort. P.S. Can we rename it the Bloomers of Peace Medal? Karen was also contacted by Netflix. They wanted rights to a mini-series called The Woman Who Hung Too Much. Karen politely declined, unless I get to play myself. Chapter 59. The retirement of the line years passed. Amanda's daughter grew. The town changed, but the clothesline stayed. Now a symbol, a legacy, a piece of local history. On the 10th anniversary of the Bloomers Rebellion, Willow Creek unveiled a sculpture, a bronze clothesline. Two bloomers, fluttering eternally. The plaque read, To those who hung in there. Amanda cried. Karen posed next to it like it was a fashion shoot. Chapter 60. The Final Fold. Amanda eventually took down her original clothesline, not because she had to, but because it had served its purpose. She folded it gently, smiled, and whispered, Thank you. Then she hung one last item, a single white sock, symbolic, quiet, a flag of peace. And Karen, she was already working on a memoir sequel. Title, Still Hanging, The Bloomers Strike Back Again. Chapter 61. When TikTok met TED Talk, a year after the Bloomers Rebellion, Amanda was invited to give a TED Talk. Yes, a TED Talk. Title, The Clothesline Principle, How Air-Dried Laundry Saved My Community. She opened strong. I didn't intend to become the face of suburban resistance. I just wanted my baby's onesies to smell like sunshine. Crowd laughs warmly. By the end, they were cheering. Some were crying. One woman clutched a sock like it was a revolutionary symbol. The video racked up millions of views, which was great, until Reed Marshall saw it. Chapter 62. Meet the Villain. Reed with a podcast. Reed was 27, ex-frat boy turned micro-influencer. Started a podcast, The Clean Lines Chronicles. Aesthetic, minimalism, concrete countertops, no emotional growth. He hated clutter, chaos, color. His tagline, declutter your home, declutter your soul. And now Reed had a mission. End the line. The anti-laundry movement. His new episode? Are you hanging up your sanity? After aggressive takes and zero fabric softener. Chapter 63, Karen listens to a podcast. Who is this tofu-flavored man? Karen snapped, removing her earbuds halfway through the episode. Amanda sighed. A podcaster who thinks bloomers represent social decay. Karen stood. We fought for these bloomers. We bled for these bloomers. You fell into a rose bush. And I'd do it again. Karen cracked her knuckles. We're going to war. Chapter 64, Laundry versus Logic. Brois Reed launched a campaign. Black and white posters. Clotheslines, honar, anshakinar, chaos. Videos of empty backyards with dramatic music. A short film where a clothesline destroyed a relationship, symbolized by a silk tie blowing away. Amanda responded, a dancing video with her daughter under the line. Interviewed a climate scientist about eco-friendly drying. Stitched Reed's podcast rant with a slow zoom on Karen folding a patriotic thong. The internet picked a side. Team Hang versus us, Team Declutter. It got wild. Chapter 65. The Town Hall 2.0. Reed came to Willow Creek. Let's debate, he said, smug in his loafers and crisp beige shirt. The HOA hosted the event. Reed brought charts, graphs, a PowerPoint called Clotheslines Kill Curb Appeal. Amanda brought Karen. Karen brought bloomers. Reed said, do you really want to walk out and see underpants in your line of sight? Karen replied, son, you're lucky you didn't live through the thong war of 2019. Crowd, howling, Reed, humiliated. Chapter 66, TikTokers Assemble. In defense of Amanda, a group of TikTok creators organized Dress Your Line Life Challenge. Show your clothesline. Dance with laundry. Tag 3 friends. It trended. Even celebrities joined. A-list actor Liam Skye posted himself folding shirts. Caption, I fold for freedom. Karen? She trended too. Someone turned her HOA speech into a remix. Title, Hangin' with the Law. Feet, Bloomer's Bop. Chapter 67, The Podcast Apology Tour. Reed's follower count plummeted. Sponsors dropped him. He posted an apology, wearing a pastel shirt in front of a modest clothesline. Maybe I judged too harshly, he admitted. Turns out, laundry can build something. He paused. Also, Karen scares me. Chapter 68, The International Invite. The UN, yes, that UN, invited Amanda to speak at a community sustainability summit. Her panel? Micro-activism, macro impact, from clotheslines to community. Karen came too. She handed out pamphlets in 5 languages, wore a blazer made of recycled fabric, told a Norwegian mayor, we hang strong in America. Chapter 69, Amanda Reflects. In her quiet moments, Amanda sat by her old clothesline, now more symbolic than functional. She watched her daughter hang her own dress. No rules, no threats, just sunshine. Amanda thought about how far they'd come. A fight over drying fabric had unraveled pettiness, rewoven community, and stitched up old wounds. Chapter 70, Karen's True Legacy. Karen self-published a book, The Fold Awakens, Memoirs of a Blooming Rebel. Critics called it surprisingly touching. Oprah called it chaotic neutral. Inside, a dedication to Amanda, for teaching me that rules matter less than people, and for tolerating my bloomers when no one else would. Amanda smiled as she read it, then added it to the little bookshelf under her clothesline. Chapter 71, The Congressional Invitation. It began with an email from a congressional staffer. Subject, Invitation to testify before House Committee on Sustainable Living. Amanda thought it was spam. Karen thought it was divine justice. I knew those bloomers would make history, she whispered, clutching the screen like it was holy scripture. They were invited to Washington, D.C. Yes, the capital. Topic, Grassroots Environmental Advocacy in Suburban America. Subtitle, Karen's suggestion, The Clothesline Chronicles, Freedom, Fabric, and HOA Follies. Chapter 72, The Preparation. Amanda rehearsed her testimony. I believe change starts in our backyards. Karen rehearsed hers too. If the founding fathers had outdoor laundry privileges, The Constitution would be lemon-scented. Amanda sighed. Karen, please don't bring actual bloomers to Congress. Karen blinked. Not even commemorative ones? No. Karen secretly packed 3. Chapter 73, Capital Drama and Cotton Diplomacy. The Capitol was massive, intimidating, and full of suits who hadn't smiled since dial-up internet. Amanda was nervous. Karen strutted in like she owned the rotunda. At the hearing, Amanda spoke eloquently about sustainability, social cohesion, and neighborhood resilience. Karen followed. She opened her purse and gently laid out a carefully folded red floral bloomer. This, she said solemnly, is what unity smells like. Gasps, laughter. One congresswoman wiped a tear. They received a standing ovation. Chapter 74, The Whispering Senator. After the hearing, a senator pulled Amanda aside. Senator O'Hara, silver hair, sharp eyes. I admire what you've done, she said, but not everyone does. Amanda blinked. Excuse me? There's a growing lobby. Developers, suburban planners, architectural purists. They want to push through uniform neighborhood standards. Amanda's blood ran cold. Nationwide HOA conformity? She whispered. Exactly. No personal decor, no clotheslines, no expression. Amanda turned to Karen. We need to fight again. Karen grinned. I already ordered new signs. Chapter 75, The Coalition Forms Back Home. Amanda and Karen launched CLAP, Clothesline Advocates for Liberty and Preservation. Yes, they knew the acronym was hilarious. Their slogan? Give us air or give us mildew, they gathered. Eco-activists, retired veterans, teen TikTokers, a surprising number of knitting groups. The movement spread across cities, states, even a commune in Oregon joined. The laundry rebellion had become national. Chapter 76, The Secret Developer Memo. An anonymous source leaked an internal memo from a real estate megacorp. Neutral tones, minimalism, no visible laundry. We sell control. We can't have bloomers waving at potential buyers. Karen nearly choked on her tea. This is fascism in khaki pants. Amanda nodded. It's HOA gentrification. They published the memo. It went viral. Chapter 77, The Great National Hangout. CLAP organized the Great National Hangout Day. At noon EST, people from every time zone would hang something. A sock, a scarf, a statement. Famous people joined. Liam Skye again, an astronaut, a monk, even a senator. Live coverage aired on multiple news networks. Amanda hung her daughter's baby blanket. Karen hung a quilt stitched from old HOA warnings. The sky was full of color, hope, fabric. Chapter 78, Backlash and Bloomers, Burnings. Not everyone loved it. Some HOAs retaliated by fining residents, cutting down clothesline poles, holding aesthetics restoration ceremonies. One HOA even hosted a symbolic bloomer burning. Karen watched it live and gasped. Those monsters burned a commemorative hibiscus pear. Amanda grabbed her hand. Let's fight smarter. Chapter 79, The Court Case. A national lawsuit was filed. Rios et al. v. National HOA Development Council. The Supreme Court agreed to hear arguments about whether the right to outdoor drying falls under personal property expression protected by the Constitution. Karen fainted. Amanda filed her statement with calm defiance. We're not asking to hang laundry. We're asking to live without fear of petty fines and power-hungry gatekeeping disguised as community values. Chapter 80, Cliffhanger at the Court. The day of the hearing arrived. Amanda stood outside the courthouse holding her daughter. Karen stood beside her, bloomers pinned to her jacket like medals. The world watched, inside the chambers. Silence. Then, all rise. The justices entered, and the future of fabric hung in the balance. Chapter 81, Opening Arguments. Amanda sat in the marble chamber of the U.S. Supreme Court, heart pounding. The attorney for the plaintiffs, a calm, articulate woman named Mia Santos, stood first. We're not asking to abolish rules, Mia said. We're asking to protect dignity. Property owners deserve to dry their clothes in peace, without fear of punitive regulation over a towel in the wind. Then the defense attorney, slick, smug, suit too expensive, approached. Order matters. Uniformity ensures value. If neighborhoods become wild zones of flapping fabric, we erode structure. Justice Hargrove leaned forward. Sir, are you suggesting that underwear destroys civilization? The courtroom chuckled. Chapter 82. Karen takes the stand. Though not typical, Karen had requested to be heard as a citizen voice of historic relevance. The court allowed it. She stood solemnly. In my early years as an HOA president, she began, I believed control was safety, that a rogue pair of boxers could unravel a zip code. Snorts of laughter. But then, I saw what it really did. It silenced, isolated, made us fear our neighbors, all for the illusion of order. She held up a small lavender bloomer. This used to be a violation. Now it's a reminder that kindness folds better than rules. She bowed. Applause echoed, until it was silenced by the gavel. Chapter 83. Waiting. The court recessed for deliberation. Outside, thousands gathered. Some waved miniature clothespins. Some carried flags made of boxer shorts. One man had a laundry basket strapped like a backpack with a flagpole through it. Amanda stood quietly beside Karen. You ready for this? Karen asked. I don't know, Amanda replied, but I know we've already won. Chapter 84. The Verdict Justice. Hargrove returned. After review, she said, we find in favor of the plaintiffs. A pause. This court rules that homeowners have a constitutional right to reasonable, non-obstructive outdoor clothes drying as an expression of personal liberty and sustainability. The crowd erupted outside. Karen burst into tears. Amanda closed her eyes. And across the country, as if on cue, clotheslines filled the skies. Chapter 85. The first National Clothesline Day. Congress passed a resolution declaring July 17th as National Clothesline Day. Amanda was invited to the White House. Karen, too. She presented the president with a framed pair of original hibiscus bloomers. The president laughed so hard she nearly spilled her tea. News anchors dubbed it the softest revolution in American history. Chapter 86. Amanda's New Mission. With the legal war behind her, Amanda returned home. But peace didn't mean stopping. She created a foundation, Fold Forward, dedicated to neighborhood democracy, eco-education, restoring community spaces with clothesline gardens. She gave talks, led workshops, mentored new community leaders. She even got a little tattoo on her ankle, a clothespin, small, simple, and stubborn. Chapter 87. Karen's Retirement, Again. Karen finally retired. For real this time. She hosted a massive yard sale called The Final Fold, everything from framed bylaws to commemorative bloomers. Her parting gift to Amanda? A vintage gold-plated clipboard. I used to enforce rules with this, Karen said. Now, it's yours. Amanda hugged her. You were a tyrant, she whispered. I know, Karen replied, but I had style. Chapter 88. Willow Creek Transformed. The neighborhood was unrecognizable, in the best way. Where there were once silent fences, there were now community chalkboards, garden beds with sun-drying stations, freedom lines where anyone could hang a note or an item. The HOA charter had been rewritten, democratically. Section 1, People over Paint Codes. Amanda framed it in her hallway. Chapter 89, A New Generation. Amanda's daughter, now 7, started her own mini HOA with friends. They called it Harmony Over Arguments. Their first rule? No yelling, unless you're playing tag. Karen gave them a talk on bylaws. They made her honorary Grandma Bloom. Chapter 90. The Final Scene. A warm summer day. Amanda stood on her porch. Her daughter ran through the yard, a line of tiny socks dancing behind her like tales of joy. The breeze was perfect. Karen sat in a chair nearby, sun hat tilted, lemonade in hand. Amanda looked to the sky, where clotheslines fluttered like ribbons of freedom. Do you think they'll remember all this? Amanda asked. Karen smiled. They won't have to. They'll live it. Chapter 91. A Whisper in the Wind. It was quiet in Willow Creek. Not the kind of quiet that came from tension or fear, but a peaceful hum. The wind rustling through clotheslines, kids giggling as they dashed between them, and the soft clink of clothespins. Amanda sat in the backyard, watching her daughter hang up her own towel, lopsided and proud. "Straighten it just a bit," Amanda called gently. "I like it this way," her daughter grinned. Amanda smiled. Freedom had a rhythm now. Chapter 92. An Unexpected Visitor. One afternoon, a sleek black car rolled into Willow Creek. Amanda raised an eyebrow. It looked like a government vehicle, or maybe a fancy HOA inspector. She braced herself, but it wasn't a threat. It was Clara Lynn, an urban designer and author of The Human Neighborhood. "I wanted to see it for myself," Clara said, stepping out. "The town where bloomers beat bureaucracy." Amanda laughed. "Come on in. We've got iced tea and a permanent clothesline museum." Chapter 93. A Global Request. Later that month, Amanda received an email from UNESCO. Yes, that UNESCO. They were launching a new initiative. Living Heritage, Small Acts, Big Impact. Willow Creek had been nominated as a model community. Karen's response: "I'm going to need a bigger clipboard." Amanda just stared in disbelief. "I started this with a clothesline and some baby socks," she said. "And a little rebellion," Karen added. Chapter 94. Karen's Final Bow. At the community ceremony welcoming UNESCO delegates, Karen stood on the main stage. She cleared her throat, then looked out at the crowd. "I once believed in order, silence, and perfection. Now I believe in motion, conversation, and perfectly imperfect chaos." She reached into her purse and pulled out her final bloomer. Gold thread, floral embroidery, and a stitched message. "For all who dare to hang." She raised it like a flag. The crowd went wild. And just like that, Karen Witherspoon officially retired. Again. This time, for good. Chapter 95. Amanda's Book. Amanda published her memoir, Hang On: How a Clothesline Changed Everything. It was part social history, part personal journey, and part DIY laundry guide. It hit the bestseller list within a week. The dedication page read, "To anyone who's ever been fined for being themselves." Chapter 96. The Bloomers Curriculum schools started teaching her story in civic classes. There was even a classroom activity. Students create their own freedom line, hang personal expressions, drawings, or hopes for the world. Amanda once visited a middle school where a kid's clothespin note read, "I want to be the kind of grown-up who doesn't yell at flowers." She cried in the parking lot for 10 minutes. Chapter 97. The Great Retirement Swap. Amanda decided to step away from public life. She handed leadership of the Fold Forward Foundation to a young activist named Jasmine, a fiery 20-year-old who once organized a sock sit-in at her dorm. "I'm trusting you with the legacy," Amanda said. Jasmine beamed. "I won't fold under pressure." Karen, listening from her porch, wiped a tear. She's learning. Chapter 98. The Willow Creek Time Capsule. The community created a time capsule to be opened in 50 years. Inside, Amanda's original laundry sign, Karen's clipboard, a reel of viral TikToks, a single sock with 2025 embroidered on the heel, and a tiny handwritten letter from Amanda's daughter. "Dear future people, I hope you still hang stuff outside and that nobody finds you for wearing too much pink. Love, Eliza." Chapter 99. A New Breeze. On a breezy spring morning, Amanda stood quietly in her yard. No cameras, no speeches, just the wind. She walked to her old clothesline, now a bit rusty, still standing, and clipped up a small towel. Not symbolic, just damp. She smiled, and she knew this was the life she'd helped shape, with fabric, friction, and a whole lot of bloomers. Chapter 100. The Final Line. Years later, when people asked how it all began, Amanda would simply say, "With a woman who said no to socks in the sun, and another who said, 'Hang on a minute,' the world would change in bigger ways." But here, in Willow Creek, the wind still danced through colorful fabric. And on every National Clothesline Day, neighbors still raised their garments high, not just to dry, but to declare, We are still here, we still hang, and we are not folding.